here's the reality that nobody wants to hear. And that's that training is easy when life is perfect, when you're well rested or stress-free and healthy. And of course, you're going to feel like a machine in the gym. But life, if we're honest, it almost never looks like that, right? And if you only train when everything is perfect, you're basically training 3 weeks out of the year, especially with the fall and winter time coming up in Wisconsin. And that's why so many people spin their wheels. They go all in when things line up. That all or nothing principle, that's legit. And then what happens is you completely fall off when stress hits, when you get sick, or when you're running low on sleep. And the athletes who actually stay consistent aren't the ones who push the hardest when life is smooth. They're the ones who know how to adjust when life gets messy. They know training isn't an on and off switch. It's a dial, right? Some days it's cranked up to a 9 or a 10. Some days it's turned down to a 3, but it's never off. It's always consistent, but never off. And so today, I'm going to show you how to turn that dial when you're stressed, sick, or running on fumes from no sleep and still keep moving forward. Modern life's wearing people down, physically, mentally, emotionally, but it doesn't have to be that way. If you want to move better, think clearer, sleep deeper, and build a body that can handle real life, we've got you. I'm Trevor Folker, and this is the Green Bay Health Project podcast. We dive into what it takes to stay strong, stay sharp, and stay in control of your health long before it becomes a problem. There's no gimmicks, no BS, just real talk about becoming the most resilient version of you. Let's get into it. And to be quite honest with you, I was up from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock last night thinking of all the things and also battling a pretty solid head cold. Okay, so this is totally applicable to myself right now. So the first thing I want to talk about is training when stressed, okay? Because I've talked about stress quite a bit on this podcast, especially this year, going through things myself, talking with a lot of other people. There's just a lot of shit going on in the world that is impacting every single person and a little differently. So your body doesn't really care what stress looks like. If it's a deadline at work, a fight with your partner, or a set of heavy deadlifts, it all pulls from the same recovery tank, okay? When you're stressed, your nervous system is already lit up. It's already in fight or flight mode. Your cortisol is high. Your sleep is going to suck. Your muscles are going to be more sore, feel more tight. And then you walk into the gym and you're expecting to hit your normal numbers with the warm-up being hopping on an elliptical for 5 to 10 minutes or just spending 5 minutes swinging your legs, right? That's not going to cut it. And it's going to feel like someone added 50 pounds to the bar overnight. It's not weakness, it's physiology. You simply don't have the same resources to recover. And this is where I see people messing up all the time. You find yourself thinking, or people are thinking, I'm going to train harder to burn the stress off. Case in point, I showed up at the gym this morning and thought that I could hit my exact same workout. It was a mix of weights and cardio, superset, and then just a steady state and little circuit. And I was wiped halfway through, and I had to think about this myself, like, hey, give myself some grace. I did what I could, and now recover today and try again tomorrow, when hopefully I'm feeling a little better, right? So back to the point of you think you're going to train harder to burn the stress off. But the truth is that training becomes another stressor on top of an already full plate. That's how you end up sick. That's how you end up burned out. And that's how you end up hurting yourself. The smarter play is to flip the goal, okay? So on stressful weeks, the gym should recharge you. It shouldn't drain you. And that means shorter sessions, 20 or 30 minutes instead of that hour. And if people are still spending 2+ hours in the gym, like, we should talk, because you don't need to be doing that. But that 20 to 30 minutes instead of an hour is a sweet spot if you are a little higher stressed. And that means dropping the intensity. So use moderate weights. Focus on clean reps, not your whatever you would standardly do or regularly do. The other thing you could do is hit accessories instead of your maxed lifts. One of my go-to plays for stressed clients and myself is zone 2 cardio. It's an easy bike ride, sled pushes, 20-minute walk, What that's going to do is it's going to lower cortisol, it's going to clear your head, and it builds your aerobic base. So you're still making progress, even though life is kind of kicking you in the pants, right? And here's another truth is that scaling back when you're stressed doesn't stall progress. Might be one of the things I hear the most is if I take a break or if I deload for a week, when I go back, I'm going to lose everything that I had worked for. And I hate to break it to you, but that's not how it works. And if you're stuck in that mindset, you simply have to break it because that's, again, not how it works. Oftentimes, you will come back stronger once the stress eases up because your body finally has that room to recover. So if you're in a stressful season, don't ghost the gym. Don't go hero mode. Don't go beast mode because one, you're going to upset yourself. Two, you're going to mentally spiral. Three, you're just going to stop showing up. Okay. So what you can do instead is train smarter, keep the habit going, stay consistent, and let the training work for you, not against you. Let's flip the script a little bit to talk about training when sick. This is what I'm dealing with myself right now. A little head cold. Kind of past the worst of it, I think. I hope. I don't know. I'm kind of a big baby when I get sick. So here we are. So let's talk about sickness. Nobody wants to lose the momentum. So people try the classic move. Again, I'm going to sweat it out. And let me be blunt. That's dumb. I'm a big fan of sweating. I think it serves a big purpose. I think it can help. But if you go balls to the wall in the gym when you're sick because you want to sweat, I don't think that's the move. Training doesn't cure sickness. Your immune system's already fighting on the inside, and training just basically takes away your fighters from the battlefield, so to speak. I guess that's an analogy we can use. So here's the rule. If it's congestion, runny nose, maybe a mild sore throat, you're good to do light work, light movement. Go for a walk, stretch, maybe do a light circuit at home. Keep the intensity way down and focus on the habit, not the gains. So again, consistency, key, common theme, right? But if you've got a fever, if you have chest tightness, a cough, full body aches, that's your body saying, no gym, no quick session. Listen to me. I'm telling you something. Give me a break. It's forcing training here isn't going to make you tough. It's going to make the sickness last longer. Okay. So here's the rule. Above the neck, go ahead and move. Do light work. Below the neck, I would say shut her down for a little bit. Allow your body to recover. Okay. I've seen athletes lose literal weeks because they refused to take 3 days off. Okay. They were thinking that they were being disciplined, but really they were being pretty impatient and pretty stupid, in my opinion. Missing 2 workouts isn't going to kill or stall your progress. Pushing through a sickness, that absolutely can. Okay. And you're going to end up hurting yourself, most likely, not all the time, but the chances are significantly higher. So if you're sick, your workout is recovery. You're going to go back to the basics that we have talked about almost every single episode this year. Hydrate, nutrient dense food, hit the sun, sleep well. And if you need to move a little bit, think 10 to 15 minutes of a gentle walk or some light mobility. I wouldn't hit anything more. Don't be heroic. Don't be dumb. Take care of yourself. Okay. Good reminder for myself right now. Now, when I put out an episode about, I believe it was the 40-year-old plus athlete, I got a lot of questions actually on lack of sleep and training. And we get this question a lot from parents who have young kids that aren't sleeping through the night and are still trying to push through their workouts because self-care is 100% important. Us having Link, he's 2 now, literally started sleeping through the night 6 months ago. So we went a year and a half kind of fighting this battle. And so I wanted to talk about what we tried to do and what you can do if you are training when low on sleep. Because in all honesty, everybody should shoot for that 7 to 9 hours, proven time and time again, but it's not always realistic. It's not always going to happen. Life throws you different seasons and you need to be okay with that. Okay. You need to work with what you have and do the best you can. So sleep might be the most underrated performance enhancer there is. Straight up. Miss one night and you're going to feel like shit. You're going to feel it in the gym. You're going to feel it during your day. You miss multiple nights and your training starts to turn into a liability, right? And everything feels more complicated. There's a stat out there that if you are awake for 18 hours in a 24-hour period, your brain is functioning, I believe, as if your blood alcohol is at a 0.5. Don't quote me. It's either 0.25 or I'm pretty sure it's a 0.05 limit, which is crazy to me. You can fact check that. Just put it into Google. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is, but it's one of those numbers. And here's why sleep is so important. When you're low on sleep, your hormones take a big shift. Testosterone, growth hormone, the things that obviously repair the muscle, they go down. Cortisol goes up. Your coordination suffers. The weights are going to feel heavier than they should, and your injury risks, it just shoots through the roof, okay? Unfortunately, a lot of people ignore all of that. They drag themselves into the gym and they try lift heavy anyway. And then they wonder why they tweak their back or why every set feels completely miserable. And so what you can do, the smarter move actually is going to be to reframe the session. A workout after poor sleep, very similar to stress, isn't about chasing performance. It's about managing the energy and keeping your habit alive, staying consistent again. And that means lighter work. Okay. Body weight circuits, dumbbell movements at moderate loads, a 20-minute mobility flow. Again, zone 2 cardio is super good at this point. Give yourself grace, do what you can. I know somebody that if they are low on sleep, they'll do a 10-minute EMOM of X amount of burpees within that minute for 10 minutes. Okay. Again, that's difficult, but 10 minutes is better than no minutes. Okay. The point is to finish the session feeling better, not worse. And here's something that people don't necessarily like to hear all the time. Sometimes the best training move after no sleep is to not train at all. A 20-minute nap, a walk outside will do more for your recovery and long-term progress than a half-baked lift that you're going to regret later. Again, it sounds like I'm telling a lot of people to stop lifting. That's not the point here. The point is to take care of yourself because this is typically short-term, right? But you can turn a short-term issue into a long-term problem if you avoid some of this stuff. So something that I will tell clients is that if you're broke, like you got no money broke, not injury broke, you don't go on a shopping spree. You tighten up the budget. If you're smart, you're going to tighten up the budget until money starts coming back in, right? And that's the same thing here, is if you're sleep deprived, you don't spend energy you don't have. You conserve it until you've cashed the check, so to speak, with real sleep. And now the overarching principle. This all boils down to one principle, and that's adjust. Don't abandon. Don't not go. Don't not do things. You just need to adjust what you're planning on doing that day. Here's an example of me this morning. I was getting good sleep, 2 o'clock, woke up, was solving all of the problems mentally in my head, and was up for 2 hours on top of being sick. So I unfortunately fell into this trap. I went to the gym, was going to do my regular scheduled workout. I started to warm up and realized like it wasn't going to happen. My back feels more stiff than it does. Things are a little achy, a little cracky. So what I did instead was I did my lift, but I cut the intensity by 50%. Okay. And I sweat a little bit. It felt good. It did feel good to sweat. I'm tired, but I still did it. And all I did was turn that dial down a little bit because it was supposed to be a pretty intense workout. So too many people end up getting trapped again into that all or nothing thinking. If I can't do my program, it's not worth doing anything. And that's how your progress is going to stall. That's why people constantly are restarting. That's why, well, don't even get me started on 75 hard. I know at its bare bone on paper, it's building habits. That's essentially what that program comes out to. But how many people do you know that have started it, get halfway through the day, and then completely spiral? They'll eat all the things. They're going to stop doing 2 workouts a day. They're going to stop reading for 10 to 15 minutes, right? Because why? Because they missed one stupid day. You don't need to restart, guys. Like, you missed a day. You're human. It's going to happen. Okay. So don't restart all over again. But that's how people get stuck in that loop. That all or nothing principle is brutal. And I 100% am guilty of it. I have a major sweet tooth. I love pizza and I love ice cream and chocolate. And when I'm disciplined, I don't touch it. I'm doing really well for 3 or 4 months. And now what happens? I go ham. I eat all the pizza. I eat all the ice cream. Erica's like, what in the world is happening right now? I'm like, well, I was good and now I'm not. And so I hate when people just completely restart. And this all or nothing is brutal. Okay. So the athletes who succeed are the ones who learn how to scale. They understand that training is a dial. Some weeks you're at a 9 or a 10. Other weeks you're at a 3. But the dial itself is never turned all the way off. Consistency beats intensity every single time. So what can you do? How do you put this into practice? I like to use what I call the traffic light system. And I've got a pretty cool graphic that goes over this that I will talk people through, but it's the traffic light system, okay? It's something that you can use to gauge yourself. I like this better. I hate the 0 to 10 scale. I get why we have to use it. Erica and I actually use a battery. Like, hey, how much what percentage do you feel you're at today? I think that's better than, hey, I feel like a 5 out of 10. And maybe the percentage is a form of that, but I really like this traffic light system. I'm really rambling today. Green light, full go. You're rested, recovered, not sick, stress is normal. This is when you hit your full planned lift. 60 minutes, normal volume, normal intensity, let it rip. Heavy lifts, conditioning tests, chasing PRs. This is the time to really step on the gas and make your progress. Now, if you're kind of in the yellow light area, modify, okay? Don't abandon. You're stressed. You slept like trash, or you're feeling a little under the weather, but not completely 100% wiped out. The goal here is to be rhythmic and to recover, and don't chase all those PRs or the heavy lifts that you are when you're in that green light mode, okay? The goal here is, like I said, rhythmic recovery, not performance. Keep sessions a little shorter. 20 to 40 minutes will get the job done. And this is where what I did this morning, I cut sets and reps by 50%, but you can range it from 30 to 40 or 30 to 50. Okay. Swap the barbell for some dumbbells if you want. You don't necessarily have to do that, but some people prefer to do that. Tempo work, phenomenal when you are in this yellow light zone. Okay. Or hit a body weight program. But I know most people do like to hit the weight. So this is where kettlebells, dumbbells, tempo work are going to be your best friends. Do circuits or mobility flows. I have a couple of kettlebell flows that I simply love to do when I'm feeling this way. It gets the body moving, you feel really good afterward, and you're leaving with more energy than you walked in with. And that's a very good thing. So what's an example? 3 rounds, 10 push-ups, 10 goblet squats, 10 kettlebell rows, minute bike. Run through that. You can increase the rounds if you want, but don't tax yourself. And then that's also not using the heaviest kettlebell that you can do for 10 reps, right? Like, we want to be strategic here and use this to your benefit to provide you with more energy to go through your day. Okay. Here's another example, a 15-minute flow, hip airplanes, thoracic rotations, planks. You can do kettlebell halos here, or turn it into a kettlebell squat to a high pull to a kettlebell halo, and then alternate single arm kettlebell lunges and work through that for 8 to 10 minutes. It feels really good. You're still training. You're just turning the dial down. Okay. And then the red light, shut it down. You've got a fever, chest cold, body aches, or you're running on 2 hours of sleep. Training's off the table. I'll be completely honest with you. I wouldn't do it. No lifting, no conditioning. I would go for a gentle walk. A ruck is a great thing to do here. Stretch if it feels good. Otherwise, your workout is recovery. Sleep, hydrate, eat good foods, hit the protein, hit the sun. It's not being lazy. It's being disciplined. You're trading one day off for getting back faster. Okay. So every day you train, run a quick self-check. Be like, I don't know how many of you do a self-awareness check every day. I think it's one of the best things you can do. Wake up, move around, check in with your body. How's this feeling? How am I feeling? Where's my energy at? And base your training off of that, okay? Be honest, give a real true gut check, and use this. Am I in the green, yellow, or red? That's your guide. It's simple, it's actionable, and it's sustainable, and it will keep you consistent and it will keep you moving forward. Okay. So the big takeaway now is training isn't about being perfect. It's about being adaptable. If you only show up when you're in that green zone, you're never going to be consistent. But if you learn to train smart on yellow days and rest on red ones, you're going to stay in the game long term. Remember, the goal, it's not to prove how tough you are in one workout. The goal is to still be training 5, 10, 20 years from now. I want to kick Lincoln's ass in the fitness world as he grows old. That's one of my goals. I don't want to kick his ass. It's not where I was saying with that. But in the fitness world, I want to be able to hang with him, right? That's my driving factor right now. So think of your goals, think of your whys, stay consistent, use this strategy. Don't stop going. Do what you can. Give yourself grace. If this was helpful, share it, use it, and apply it to your life as best as you can. If you have questions, you know that you can always hit me up. I'm here for you, happy to help, and keep progressing, guys. Progress isn't built on perfection. It's built on smart ones. Talk soon. Thanks for tuning in to the Green Bay Health Project podcast. Now, if you're ready to take control of your health and want a team that truly has your back, check us out at Movement Performance and Rehab. One-on-one care, zero insurance headaches, and results that last. See you next time.